Hello guys, welcome to another MoGraph Monday. Today I'm going to be showing you how to animate these kind of overlapping fish we've got going on here from the Explore series. Yeah, let's just jump in. This is going to be a really quick one today, I think. I'm just going to get started. I'm going to quickly draw a fish in Illustrator, so let's get started. When it loads up, here we go. Alright, so we'll just make a new document. That will do. So the fish are really simple, they're sort of this shape with a crazy fill. I'm going to go for an orange. Let's just put my stroke up a little bit. Wicked. And let's look back at the... And we just got like weird square triangle things. So if we draw a square like that, and if we get the minus tool, we can do that. It's probably not quite right actually, I think they've got a bit more. Yeah, okay, let's not do the minus tool. Let's just bring this point in, something like that. And then we'll duplicate that, flip it on the horizon, and line it back up. If you press Command Y, you can see the outline mode, so you can see everything's properly lined up, which we've got there, which is cool. We'll go for orange and blue. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Right. How do these fish look? There's something like that, I guess, but thicker strokes. Let's go for like a 20. And then finally we've got a little black eye, so something like that. We'll turn the stroke off. So we have this quick little fish. We'll break the layers up, so if we select this layer on this drop down, if you say release layers to sequence, you then get everything on its own layer. We can drag this out of layer 1 and delete layer 1 and quickly name things. So this is the body. We've got tail T, I'll call it, for top, and tail B for bottom, I, and what I'm also going to do is, no, we'll do that in After Effects. Okay, so we've got this fish. I'm probably going to scale it down a little bit actually. Let's scale that eye up. Let's make it a bit more. Whoa, crazy fish. A little bit smaller. Okay, we'll go for something like that. And that will do. So we will go save as. I'm going to go to my tutorials folder. We'll call this one number 6, fish, and snake. I'll show you how to animate a quick snake. We will go assets, and we'll save this as fish. Done. Right, let's jump into After Effects, and we will begin to animate this one. So if we double click the project panel, go to our layers where we saved the file. So we're looking for fish and snake, assets, fish. Retain layer sizes and open. Let's double click this. We'll quickly drop in a background just so we can see. Maybe we'll go for a crazy blue background. There we go. Look at this, now we're underwater. Good stuff. Right, first things first, we're going to select all the layers, right click, create shapes from vector layer, and we'll just delete the old ones. So, if we look back at our reference again, we've got this little like squish, which then powers through the motion. So we'll begin to do this. So what we will do is, because we want to squish the body and everything else, but we want to squish them individually, we will quickly create a null object first. So layer, new null object. So here we can parent everything together, and this will be the fish controller, we'll call it. So then we will parent the eye, body, and both parts of the tail to this. So now to control the movement, we've got this layer. Cool stuff. So we'll start with the body. We're going to just put a scale keyframe on the body. Zoom in. We're going to start at 100%. We'll go maybe 10 frames, 12 frames, whatever. And what we're going to do is we're going to stretch the body out. So we'll go 130. And we're going to take it, because we've added 30 on, we'll take 70 off so we get a squish. And I'm not too happy with that, because we want it to, if we solo this layer quickly, we want it to squeeze from here as if it's connected to the tail. So with the pan behind tool, which is Y on your keyboard, if we select this, we can move the anchor point to the end, and now it should scale as if it's pushing forward, which is what we want. Unsolo that layer. It's nice. Now we got this push forward movement. And what we'll do is with the tails, we will hold in shift, drop the tail in the center corner, and we'll do the same for this one. Actually, we can use the MoGraph and line for this, which will make sure they're nice, because we line them up in Illustrator. This will make sure these anchor points are directly the same. So now if we do the scale on this as well, we can come forward to 12 frames, unlink our layers, and we'll go 130 and 70. How does that look? Let's just do this anyway, just double check. It's hard to tell in a minute. Okay, that does not look so great. Well, maybe it does. Okay, that's okay. Maybe we could scale these a bit more. Let's go for 150. And we'll go 50. So we get proper scale in the tail. And then what I did, as you watch, there's this kind of scale and it causes the push forward. So we'll come forward maybe less amount of frames, something like that, and we'll paste the first value back in. So then it's going to be a short like burst back. So you slowly stretch it out and popped back. We'll quickly just animate the position on the Y. We'll separate the dimension because we're only animating the X position. So we're going to put a keyframe here, come forward to this one and here, and this one we'll just position him towards the front of the head. So he's looks like we got a whole movement. So now what we'll do is we will animate the controller position. We'll do the X position as well. So we'll go to 20 frames from here, move him slightly forward, something like that. So now we should have this burst movement. We could have him maybe from here actually. It might look quite cool if he slides back a tiny little bit. So when he, maybe we can go back a little bit further. So when he's contracting himself, it's actually causing him to slide back a little bit, and boom, he accelerates through. So we've got this, and then the trick here is we had this overlap. So we'll begin to animate this now. So what we will do is we could do with a template. Let me think. No, we don't need it. Okay. What we'll do is with the body, we're going to solo the body first. Hit Command R for the rulers, and we're going to drop some. If we zoom in, we're going to drop rulers on this anchor point and on this one. So we're going to scale down the path properties. Just put a keyframe in, hit U so we can see. We obviously don't want that keyframe here. Actually, we will have it here for now because we've just put our rulers there. So what we're going to do is come forward like maybe 10 frames, but we can shorten this later on. So we're going to swap these positions over. I was holding caps lock and that's shift. If you hold shift, you can keep it in the right position. So we're going to attach these to these rulers we've just put in. Line it up as close as you can. Something like that. And then these are inverted, so we need to spin these out. What we can do actually is on the top ones, if we drop some rulers on the nodes, like so. I'm being too perfectionist on this, it's just a tutorial. And then we can make sure that both of these nodes are on the lines, so it should maintain a similar shape to what we began with. And we'll do the same with the top real quick. Like that. That's what we're after. We'll check away these rulers. So now we get this nice almost flip rotation. Actually, come to think of it, we might have been able to do that with the scale. Let me double check. Oh no, because of where we've got our anchor point, it wouldn't work. No worries. Okay, so yeah, now we've got this nice flip. So this will be when the fish turns. Unsolo the layer. And we're going to do the same for the position. Oh, I hit the wrong key there. Don't know what I hit there. Position on both tails. Again, we're going to just animate the X position. We want our Y to maintain the same. So we check positions in. And we're going to open up our groups and plot one for the path. And the path. Here we go. And we'll hit U on both of those to close those layers. Come forward. What we'll do for the tail is we will duplicate it. Hit S on the keyboard. On the first set of numbers, we're going to hit minus, so we get an inverted version. I'm going to just drag it roughly over here. Hit T for opacity and bring it to like 30. So now we're going to animate the bottom one. I'm going to start. Actually, we can just animate. We don't need the X position. We're just going to animate the path. Save time. So what we're going to do is drag that so it lines up with the shadow we've just made. Like that. I'm going to select these layers, drag them out. This one's about there. This one's about here. Just double check that one. Golden. We can delete the shadow layer. And we'll do the same for the top. We're going to Command D, hit opacity, nice 40%, hit scale, check a minus on the first number, holding shift, drag it across, and try to line it up with the other layer, which is about here. And we'll delete the X position again, and with the path selected, we'll slide this over. Here we go. till we recreate the fish shape. Like so. Great, so now we should have this tail doing this nice flip with the fish. And we'll delete the outlines. And the last thing we need to do is the eye. So what I did here is with the eye, when we get about halfway, probably here, I'm going to select the eye's X position, come forward, plot the value here again. When we get here, bring it, well, make sure you select that keyframe, bring it so it's on its sides, because fish's eyes kind of stick out. And what we'll do is we will duplicate the eye, so we have two eyes now. Hit U on this new one. On this position, we're going to have this eye sticking out here. And we're going to delete all of these positions so far. And what we're going to do is make this layer only visible now. Actually, we'll do it with opacity just in case. So if we hit the keyframe there, go forward one frame, turn the opacity to backwards one frame, sorry, turn the opacity off. So now we get this new eye up here, which is now going to head to the front of the fish. So if we move it there, and we're going to do the same opacity trick with this one. So we're going to hit opacity now. Next frame, we can no longer see this because it's gone behind the other side of the body. So now we've got this nice turn in our fish, which is pretty basic, but it does the job. Boom. So what we're going to do now is select all of these layers, and we're just going to bring them in towards the end here. So now we have this cool, I have missed some layers. What have I missed? On this eye I have not got the position. Select all these again, bring it into the end of our movement. So now we have this sense of moving and overlap. The eye looks a bit weird. What's going on there? Okay, that's to do with our. We'll leave the eyes for now. We'll concentrate on the tail and body. So these layers here, we're going to bring the overlaps to the end where the null ends. So this 20 frames here. And what we can do, so we get the body twisting out. Maybe that's happening too soon actually. Let's bring it forward a little bit. So it comes to a stop and then turns. That's more like how I animated it. There we go. So what we do is offset the tail. So if we select the tail, bring these, holding Alt, press your arrow key, sorry, we can knock it forward, say 4 frames or something, and you get this sense of, oh, what have I done here? I've selected the body and the top tail, wrong one, with the tail selected, 1, 2, 3, 4, here we go. Okay, 4 is too slow. How did I do this? Let me think. Maybe if we just extend the flick. Let me check the reference. Maybe we do need to. Yeah, okay, that was it. Okay, so what we need to do, sorry, this is poor effort. The flick on the tail is actually quite quick, but what we do is we animate the X position. So I was right thinking we have the X position. So what we're going to do is when the body's at halfway, we're going to move these X positions so they are halfway as well. So we are both here, so they move with the body, and then we can move the paths on these so they now flick back out. But then what we'll do, it's when they finish their flick, we have to adjust the position so they're back. Actually, we can copy the same ones. Maybe we can't. Okay, we'll zoom in. It's going to adjust them so they are on the end of the fish. Like so, and like so. So now we've got this cool flick of the tail motion. Our eyes are going weird. So that's how we get this cool little overlap on the fish, like I did. Obviously, you guys could play with the easing of the keyframes. What I might just do real quick, just to make it look a bit smoother, is using MoGraph. I would just add some like easing, let's say 70. Let's have a look how that works. That looks awful. I'm going to undo that. You guys can play with your easing, because obviously you would want a slow movement here to a fast turn, really quick turn, and a delayed slow flick. That's what you want to go for, but I'm not going to bother getting into that for the sake of this tutorial. We'll quickly fix the eyes. What's going on here? So when the body starts to move, we need the eyes to begin to move as well. So where's the X? So let's just move all of this. I'm not sure that's right. This new one will be activated here and brought back. And these ones have to turn off there. Actually, this new eye is now should be turned off until we get past the tail, so they should actually be turned on here. There we go, something like that. So, and then what you would do to bring it back again, I just looped it, so I copied the scale again, which would be this. We'll do the same for the tail and the other tail. So then you have the slow burst again, and then you would from here, we'll check in a position, and then we were forward 20 frames or something, 10 frames I think, and go back to the start position. And then you would animate the flip in the fish again, so you get it looping back to the start. Oh, that's not right. So then if we click preview, he then jumps back to the start, but without the flip. But you guys have seen how to do that now, so you would do the same again, and you can make him looping around and squishing and moving a bit like a fish, which is pretty cool. We will quickly just put a save in on this, maybe. We'll go. What am I looking for? Tutorials. I'm gonna quickly save this, and I'll show you a trick for animating a snake moving, which is pretty damn cool. I've called it fish and fish because I'm an idiot. Okay, alright, let's go new composition. So that's how I did the fish. Anyways, we'll call this comp actually snake. Snake. I cannot spell this morning. We'll quickly check in a new solid again for a background. This time it can be green because the snake would be on the grass. Right, we'll lock that layer. This is going to be the most ugliest snake you've seen. I'm just going to do a nice square. We'll put him, center this up just so we can see it in the center of the screen. Look at that. Awful. What I can do actually is if I add a ellipse, and if I take the fill and stroke out of here, I believe that will put it, yep. So the way this works is it's kind of a stack. So whatever you add to the shape layer is, it will add it to these layers. So then, because these are underneath, we then get the stroke and the fill, and depending on this order changes the shape. So look, now we have this kind of connected look just because the fill's on top of the stroke. If you do it like that, you get them individual. We'll do a connected one, why not? And what we will do as well is we will add a fill to just the ellipse. I think you can just do it to the ellipse. Oh no, you need to Command G, which groups them. So now this new fill is with the ellipse, and we can make this one white. So we have a horrible eye, and we will add another ellipse. This is a really terrible introduction into shape layers for you. We'll add another fill. We will group this ellipse. We will make this fill black. And in the transform, we will scale this right down. Position this to the front here. So, whoa, I have scaled that too far down. No, I haven't. It's because this needs to be on top of that one. There we go. Let's adjust that scale, sorry. So now we've got a horrible snake with a stupid eye. Good times. So, what I'm going to show you real quick is we're going to use the puppet tool. We'll put a puppet by its eye, one in the center, one at the end. And if you go to Duic, which is a free plugin, we can open up we can call this layer snake. We'll open up this layer, go down to effects, puppet, and the mesh, and then in the deformers we have these pins. If you open these up, you'll see these keyframes. You could have just hit U on the keyboard though. I will just show you how to do it. So if we select all the puppet pins, we go to bones, and then this will give us a null which controls each of those puppet pins. So we can now lock the snake, and what we will do is parent the end to the middle and the middle to the start. So now we can move these pins, whoa, and it will control the snake. So what we're going to do now really quick is with these, I'm going to separate the dimensions and animate just the Y position. So if we come forward 10 frames with all the layers selected, I'm going to move the Y up. Actually, sorry, no, we don't need to parent these, I believe. Yep, so now we get this moving up, And now we'll come forward another 10 frames. Select all the nulls. I'm going to move it down. We're getting this eye left behind. That's our snake. We need to go down to the puppet, and it's the mesh, and we just need to add the expansion up. What that does, how do I see the mesh? Oh yeah, I need to select this. So what this does, if you add the expansion, it's the area over here of where the mesh is taken from our shape. So it was too small before, so we were leaving little parts behind basically. We'll hit U on our snake again and close that off. So now we've got this snake moving up, down. We'll go forward another 10 frames and copy the first frame back into all of these. So now we've got this snake moving like that. Very boring. But this is what we call offsetting. So if we select all these keyframes, hold an Alt, go forward maybe 3 frames, and then with the bottom ones we'll go forward another 3 frames. Now our snake has this kind of crawling movement, which is pretty cool. And if you were to add some cool ease in, I'm just going to do something simple with MoGraph, 50%. We get this kind of slivery look, which is pretty cool. So if I zoom out, hit render. So now you get this natural kind of wavy sliver, which feels like a snake moving, which is pretty cool. Obviously if you did a cool drawing of a snake, which looks a lot better than my quick little thing, you would have a pretty cool movement there. And that's dead simple to do, and just some slight offsets. Now you could use this for fish as well. Sharks kind of move in a similar way. So there you go, there's some kind of movements you can play around with. And then if we go back to the fish, you could apply some squash and stretch to this idea of the snake as well. Maybe try and have some clever overlaps. But yeah, here's some ways you can do some little experiments using simple tools to make some pretty organic looking movements, which is quite fun. That's probably all I was going to show you today. I'm actually probably going to be quitting on the tutorials for a little bit because I'm moving flat this week. It might take a few weeks to properly move in. I've got some really big jobs on, so I'm probably not going to have much time for the tutorials. But when I come back, I'm going to try and come back strong and do some really good content for you. And there might be a slight change to the channel, so keep your eye out. But anyways, as always, thank you for watching the tutorial today. I hope you've learnt some cool stuff. Like, subscribe, follow, all of that stuff. Share it with your friends. That's it for today. Thanks, folks. Take care.